Hey YouTube, how you doing? It's ILS360 here. So we got a Roketa 150 here that I'm repairing. Let me get more specific here. Let's see. It's a 2008 Roketa SICILY 150. I think that's supposed to stand for like Slick City or I don't know, something like that. But doing a bit of a repair on it today, or not just a bit, but quite the repair. What's happening with it right now is when you go to start it, sometimes it starts beautifully and runs like a top, and other times it won't start at all. Sorry for the stuffy nose. I will apologize in advance. I don't know why I've got stuffy nose today, but yeah, like I was saying though, sometimes it'll start beautifully, and sometimes it just won't. And the problem is sometimes after you get it to start, just whether it's beautifully or having problems starting it, and you take it for a run, it's real fast, real nice. This is probably the quickest scooter I've actually been on. I've got my 150 right next to it. But it's just really strange because 1 second it'll be zooming right along, and then it'll act like it's starting to get less and less and less fuel, or it'll just shut off and not starting it, and then you have to have somebody come and rescue you, which is rather annoying. And to get to everything in this scooter, you have to pretty much disassemble the whole thing. Come on, there we go. There we go. So, just to disassemble it, you have to take the sissy bar off the back. You have to take the plastics off the sides, the plastic off the back, and then you can take the bucket out if you're careful to not ruin anything. Here, I'm gonna have you guys change positions here so you can watch a little bit closer. Let's see, let's go up. There's your carburetor right there, and I think that is the culprit. And I really think it comes down to the carburetor either having a leak or something like that. It could be the actual intake manifold itself as well. But it's just strange that once it's started and gets warm, that's when it starts having issues. When you start these scooters, they have an electric choke that opens up for just a few seconds, and if you just sit and crank and crank and crank, it's not going to make it any better. You want to do short pulses like that, like 2-3 seconds, stop, maybe 2 seconds, stop, 2 seconds, stop, like this. I'll do it again. I'll do it twice. Oh. Started up that time. Alright, so I'm not going to shut it off. I'm going to leave it running, and I'm going to spray around the carburetor with carburetor cleaner and see if the idle changes. If it does, it's got a leak in that area. So give me just a second. So he does that too, where you go to pull the throttle back and it just dies. You got a good, oh, there, shut off again. You got a good view at that time of how I start them. If you crank them for longer than that, you do kill the starter on them. So the next thing I'm going to check, I'm just going to take the fuel line off here and set it off to the side. and go to start it and see if any fuel comes out of it. Okay, there's no fuel coming out of it whatsoever. So that may be the issue here, is that fuel petcock is just not working like it should. Alright, that one's on. Let's see, let's check this one. I'm gonna eliminate some vacuum lines here. God, if I can get this. Oh, I'll just leave that one on. I gotta get some more vacuum lines here. Alright, I got a few more vacuum lines here. Just a few different ones. I'm going to, let's see. Just trying to find one that's a good size. I don't know where my other vacuum lines went. Let's go ahead and just pull this one off. Alright, that one's off. I think it was pinched anyway, so it wasn't even being used. I'm going to take this one off. That one. What I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be eliminating it to just 2 vacuum lines, just like I did on my scooter. And see if that helps any with the suction. Because if it's sucking too much air in somewhere, then yeah, it wouldn't be running right. Alright, so as you can see, it's still not starting. It's still not wanting to work correctly. Just checking on the fuel line and everything. Everything looks correct. I'm going to pull the this line off here. I just don't like this design of these automatic fuel petcocks. I've actually bypassed mine on my scooter. Never had a problem with it. Not yet anyways. What I was doing there, I took the the vacuum line off of the fuel petcock, and I actually just kind of stuck it on my lip, just near my lip, to see if it was sucking at all. And it is. It's sucking, just not maybe constant enough. I don't know. I'm gonna go get something to cut. Like, I have something to cut this with. My knife. Sometimes it helps to start new ends on these vacuum lines. And yes, I am still using all the Chinese vacuum lines that this came with, so that can also be an issue. Alright, let's try to start it again. See, what I'm starting to see here is when it's trying to start, it looks like there's a pulse going through this fuel filter. I don't know if it's getting fuel, if it's trying to do something different like it shouldn't be, or... I'm going to pull this off again. I can see fuel in there now, which I couldn't before. I'm going to try starting it again and see if any fuel comes out. Only every so often. It's not coming out at a constant. It's coming out at random spurts. So I really wonder if it's not just the fuel line here not working. I'm gonna go grab a different tank, a separate tank completely, and try feeding it that way just to see if it changes anything. Be right back. Alright, so I grabbed a different fuel tank, rinsed it out with gasoline, not water, don't worry. I'm going to go ahead and take this fuel line off of this one and set it up here so if it starts to actually have gas come out of it, it won't go everywhere. Just give me 1 second. Alright, that should be good enough. And then I'm going to link in this new fuel line here. Come on. Alright, I'm going to put gas in this tank. Should be plenty. Where's the cap? There it is. Alright, now let's see if it'll start. So obviously not. So that's not the problem. It's just really strange that it just won't start at all. And I had to go further into it, make it a more expensive repair, but might be necessary for this one. Alright, now I'm going to try with the kickstart. The reason why I'm going to try with the kickstart, just in case if it has a power starving issue. What that means is when you go to start it, sometimes, I've seen this maybe once, maybe twice, where the system doesn't have enough power to actually power the spark, especially if it has a DC type system. If it has an AC system, then you're not gonna have to worry about that. I believe this is an AC system, but I'm gonna try it anyways. So obviously not. That's not helping at all. So let's go further into the carburetor. Do a little more testing before we really start pulling it apart. Alrighty, chibbers. Next test is just see if it will allow to be bottle fed. What I mean by that is I'm gonna spray carburetor cleaner in the intake while I'm trying to start it and see if I can get it to start and run and stay running off carb cleaner. So here we go. So as you can see, there's no anything. So that tells me it might not be the carburetor, it may be a spark issue. Whether the spark plug's not sparking, or we got some stretched, do have some bent stretched wires up here, so I'm just trying to find a good unpainted surface to try this on. Let's try it right there, I guess. I definitely see a spark. Alright, so I pulled the spark plug out. It's not necessarily flooded, it's got fluid on it for sure. It smells like gasoline and carb cleaner, so let's see if we got a spark with this spark plug. No spark. I got sparked. Shocked me a little bit, but it's not the strongest spark in the world. Let's see. Okay, there's a difference between these two. One's a CR7HSA and one's a C7HSA. And the CR is working in it for whatever reason. Oh, it's got strong spark. So let's go ahead and throw that one in there. I'm just going to put it in finger tight and try to get it to run off of it. It's a very strange place where these spark plug things are, and there's sharp plastic everywhere. Last time I worked on this, I got cut over and over and over again. You wouldn't think plastic's sharp, but ouch. It is. Gonna go through the top. This engine is not easily accessible like my engine is. I should actually see what spark plug my engine's running and put that in here. Unless it's the same number that I just pulled out. Obviously I didn't finger tighten it, I just tightened it up with the ratchet, so. Let's see what we get with that, huh? Incorrect spark plug? Oh heck. Actually running really well now. So the next thing I'm going to do, I noticed it is running just a little bit lean. I'm going to pull the top of this carburetor off here. Sorry if I miss any of these scenes in editing. Sometimes I do and leave them out, and it makes the video overly long, but as you can see, also when you put these carburetors back together, you can kind of handle them all right, like I am right now. Make sure you're in scene. Yeah. It's okay to handle them like this, but when you put them back in, you want to spray the heck out of this slide, because this, if the slide has any dirt on it or grime on it whatsoever, it can really change things up and make things run really badly. So give me just a second here. What I'm doing, there's a little pin here. The further, or the C-clip or circlip, when you move this down, it makes it richer. If you move it up, it makes it leaner. So I'm going to make it a little bit richer. Alright, I'm going to clean this slide now. I'm going to do it off camera though, so I don't do it over the bike. You want to make sure you don't get anything on the actual rubber itself, or any carb cleaner. I'm going to put a little WD-40 in the top here. Just help make a good seal. Sometimes the rubber gets a little dry. Not so much dry. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just talking. Rambling on nonsense. You also want to go like this and just kind of lift it up and drop it. It should drop pretty easily on its own. If it doesn't, or it feels grimy, or it feels like sand is in there, you're going to want to pull it out and clean both the slide and the place where the slide goes. I'm going to put a little bit of WD-40 on my finger here and rub this rubber down. It's just something I do. I usually use Marvel Mystery Oil, but I don't have any on hand today, so yes, I know. Me without Marvel Mystery Oil, it's the end of the world. Alright, let's see. One of the ways you can tell if a scooter or something in the effects of a 4-stroke is running lean or rich. If it's running too lean, when you take off, it'll bog out. It comes from the carburetor side. It goes, you know, like it did that once while I had it running. And if it's running too rich, then it might give you a good amount of power, or it'll be a little boggy, and it might be kind of backfiring at the muffler. And when you pull off the throttle, it goes pop, 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 and it doesn't stop like until you slow down all the way. Then you're definitely running too rich. On most four-wheelers and motorcycles, you do want to hear 2 or 3 pops out of the muffler when you slow down. It's definitely on Hondas, I've noticed. They like to run a little rich, so let's go ahead and start her up again. As you can see, it's running beautifully now. So, I'm going to go ahead and start reassembling it here. I'm going to put it almost all the way back together, enough to where just the seat is on it. I'm going to take it for a run. I'm going to go get it warmed up, get it heated up, run it around where I live here, and see if I can get it warm, see if I can get it to malfunction again. That's what I'm looking for, is a malfunction. So, as you can see, I'm still running on this fuel tank. I'm going to be plugging it back into the other fuel tank and testing that out real quick. You already saw me test all that. I'm just going to do the same tests off camera. So, give me just a little bit, YouTube. See ya. Bye. Alrighty, tubers, I'm going to be delivering it here in just a second, but it's running beautifully. That new spark plug that I threw in there, and all the adjustments and all the bypasses and all the different things I've done, it runs like a top now. Runs even better than before. So, start it up for you. Oh. Oop. That throttle is really sticky too, or really touchy too. But yeah, it's running like a top. Both the blinkers work. Just adjusted those for him. I'm going to be loading it up on my trailer with the brand new axle underneath it. As you can see there. New axles. It's an old used axle, but it's new for the trailer. It's kind of just not jury rigged it. I rigged it under there as best I can without having to cut and move the springs at all. Yeah, they are a little ways out, but that's okay to me. That's just fine. So, hope you have a good one, YouTube. I'm going to be loading it up here and taking it to the customer's house. Cool. See you, tubers.